Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. We're going to have a look at the tiny dick of doom that is Patrick Harvey. He's spewing some hate again, so there's no change there. Of course, he has managed somehow to find himself into a bit of authority, which is very odd, because normally people who are pro-IRA and pro-Hamas should really be kept well away from power. But then I suppose, if you're that kind of ilk, pro-IRA, pro-Hamas, you don't mind murdering children. It's what you do. We remember Omar. We saw what happened a couple of weekends ago. And so that's his kind of people. And of course, he's part of a party that wants to sexualise children. So again, we understand what he is. He's a bit of a deviant, really. He doesn't like being called a deviant, but anyone who's sort of pro those people that murder children and pro the sexualisation of children at the same time, it's a bit deviant in some ways. He's now also been quoting Mahatma Gandhi. I suppose he sees himself a bit like Mahatma Gandhi. Because Mahatma Gandhi liked to go to bed with sort of 9, 10, 11-year-old girls. I'm not for 1 minute suggesting that Patrick Harvey takes 9, 10 or 11-year-old girls into his bed. That's not his thing at all. I'll leave you to work that one out. Anyway, he's been having a go at Kate Forbes. He's been having a go at Fergus Ewing. And the reason, of course, is they're the sensible side of the SNP. And the sensible side would kick the Greens into touch. And he very much doesn't want that to happen. Let's have a look at this report, see what's going on, see what is going on in the strange, weird head of Patrick Harvey. Here goes. So Patrick Harvey blasts Kate Forbes and Fergus Ewing as he claims the Greens are winning, thanks to the SNP. The man's delusional. The more this goes on, the more people see the Greens for what they are. An extremist, Marxist, power-mad organisation hell-bent on sexualising children and who praise and adore the murderers. They are not fit for office. They're not fit for humanity. Every single one of them needs to be rounded up and either imprisoned or put into a nut house because they're either evil or bonkers. Anyway, the Scottish Greens co-leader also appeared to compare himself to Mahatma Gandhi as he quoted the great man and said, "First they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win, then they put you in prison," which is probably the best thing for him. This, of course, is a man, who I think is very much like Mahatma Gandhi in many ways. Scottish Greens co-leader Patrick Harvey has blasted back at his critics in the SNP and boasted that his party have become more popular thanks to the coalition with the Nats. And that's bad news, of course, for everyone. If it's true. I don't think it is, but if it's true, it's bad news for the world, isn't it? Who wants Marxist? Who wants hate-filled Marxist? Who wants hate-filled Marxists that want to sexualise children anywhere in authority? Kate Forbes and Fergus Ewing have led the criticism of the Butte House Agreement, struck by Nicola Sturgeon, with Mr Ewing suspended for voting to sack Mr Harvey's colleague Lorna Slater. More on her next video. The very next video, we're going to have a look at the DRS. So do hit that subscribe button. Don't miss that video. Anyway, both MSPs have skipped the SNP conference in Aberdeen as a sign of huge rift over the deal with the Greens. She pretended, of course, to have this emergency meeting in America, quick, write it in the books. And Fergus Ewing, of course, just plain up said, "I'm not going," because he doesn't want to be associated with those bunch of inveterate wankers, I suppose. Anyway, Mr Harvey claimed the rebels are the ones who are doing the damage. No, Harvey, you are the one doing the damage. He said some SNP figures worried about their standing in the polls should look to themselves. Are you looking like a divided party? Well, they are. We all know they're divided. But funnily enough, one of the big divisions, one of the massive divisions in the SNP is the Butte House Agreement. Because about 3/4, if not more, maybe 4/5 of the party want the agreement gone. It's only the upper echelons that want to retain them for some very, very weird reason. Now, we know why Humza Yousaf likes the Greens, because the Greens want to sexualise children. The Greens are pro this, the murder of Jews. They're pro-Hamas, and, they're genocidal. They want to get rid of all the Jews off the world. That's Hamas. That's their thing. They want to eradicate Jews from the face of the earth. Of course, the Greens are pro-Hamas, so that suits Humza Yousaf very well. So, of course, he's perfectly happy being pro-Green. And so that's fine there. But the vast majority of people in the SNP are like, these Greens are costing us seats. I'm going to lose my job because of the Butte House Agreement and so forth. So, yeah, there is a massive division in the party, but it's all caused by the Greens, or mainly anyway, and all the Green policies, which happen to be all the policies because the SNP haven't come up with any. Every policy that's been there and every policy that's failed is a Green policy. Scotland has actually got a Green government backed up by the SNP. It's not the other way round. Anyway, he said, are you making the SNP look more confused? Some reacting as though there now needs to be a fundamental change and need to consider whether they're offering the public the idea of a united party. There definitely does need to be a change, but it needs to be a change in management. It needs to be, Hamza Yousaf needs to be booted out, not just as leader, but out of the party. He's so dangerous and extreme, again, in his views. Ms Forbes called for another look at the coalition deal during the SNP leadership contest and subsequently as well, which saw her narrowly defeated by Hamza Yousaf, who had the full weight of the party machinery behind him, and he could only then just scrape over the line. A member of the Free Church of Scotland, she was also criticised for her socially conservative views. Now, the funny thing is, they're criticising her for her religion, but I don't think anyone in the We Free has ever strapped, an explosive overcoat on. I don't think anyone in the We Free has ever blown themselves up in the name of God. And yet they say her religion is extreme. It's very weird, isn't it? And certainly in the We Free, you can have a wee tipple. The We Free don't stop other people having their views and things like that. And yet Mr. Yousaf, I think when it comes to extremism in a particular religion, I think nobody's questioning his religion, which seems very weird and one-sided. Maybe it's because she's a woman, in which case it's misogynist. Or is it anti-Christian? Or is it because she's white and therefore it's white racism? You have to wonder, don't you? Why is it only one way? Why does nobody feel able to criticise Hamza Yousaf? Are they scared? Are they scared of him? Or are they scared of his friends? I think they're scared of his friends. They don't want to say anything about those people who want to blow children up. But I can't recall anyone from the We Free murdering children. Maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, a member of the Free Church of Scotland, she was also criticised for her socially conservative views on issues such as gay marriage, which incidentally, everyone's complaining about that. Let me just also point out Hamza Yousaf managed to be absent on the day of that, so he didn't vote against it. He could be being voted against it, and of course he wasn't seen voting for it by the chaps down at the mosque. Anyway, Mr Harvey said she came out with lines around progressive taxation you could have easily heard from Liz Truss. Progressive taxation is good. Progressive taxation is the best way. It means more you earn, more you pay. People who earn less, the poorer, pay less. The people who are richer and earn more pay more. That's called progressive taxation. Harvey thinks that's a bad thing. He wants to just tax everything from everyone because the man is a Marxist. What? He's actually arguing against the kind of taxation that 99.9% of people would be more than happy with. See, ULEZ, that thing in Glasgow where if you go in your car or whatever, that's not progressive. That's the opposite of progressive. The poor pay more. How can that possibly be a good thing when effectively this low emission zone is a tax? It's a tax on driving. It's actually a tax on poor people. Poor people pay, they pay relatively more. And secondly, they're the ones least able to avoid paying it at all because they haven't got the wherewithal to go and upgrade their car necessarily. So, and he's against progressive taxation? Wow. That goes to show you how mad he is. Anyway, in an interview with the Sunday Herald, he said, I personally wouldn't have been comfortable remaining a minister. Oh, good. Please do take the opportunity right now to stop being a minister. He said, but that's if the popular Highlands MSP had become leader and first minister. Oh, we missed out so close. On the other hand, he is the face that's launched 1,000 YouTube videos, so I gotta be in the middle on this one. Anyway, a decision would have been taken by the Scottish Green Party Council, and he would have recommended that her positions were incompatible with the Butte House Agreement, and it would need to be ended. Trouble is, the Greens' position is incompatible with 99.9% of decent people, because 99.9% of decent people don't want children sexualised. They don't agree with blowing up, murdering babies. But that's the Greens for you, eh? It's just the Greens. Anyway, the Zero Carbon Buildings Minister and Zero Intelligence Minister also had harsh words for Mr. Ewing, as well as full readers of the papers, Daily Express, Daily Mail, and all that. He says, "I don't think many of our prospective voters are regular Mail or Express readers. No, they're all Marxists." He said, "We probably attract support from those who wouldn't be seeing dead reading them." No, you attract people who are pro-sexualisation of children and pro-murder of babies. That's your lines. That's your party. He went on to say that Mr. Ewing's views could possibly appeal to our readers, adding that his attacks on the Greens were no great surprise, given his position on environmentalism or social policy. He's someone who has voted against LGBT rights. He's not voted at all against LGBT rights. He's voted on one occasion against opening the marriage. That was the only thing I think he voted against, wasn't it? And that's partially that. Also, his position on environmentalism that they're criticising is his position on duelling the A9 and the A96. First of all, you're getting traffic that's moving steadily and moving, at a constant speed, which is better for the environment, number one. Number two, it's better for animal welfare because you're not getting lorries filled with sheep or whatever stuck in traffic, especially on hot days, in queues, bad for that, good for the environment. And thirdly, human life. You see, you're putting the environment above human life. When you see the number of people who die on the A9, the A96 and all that, and you think that, saving the life of a rabbit is more important than saving the life of a human being, then you've got your priorities wrong, tit. Anyway, he went on to boast that the Butte House Agreement had improved his party's standing in the polls. I don't see it. Before bizarrely quoting Gandhi to describe the progress of the Greens are making under his leadership. He said there's a growing number who might have been attracted to Green politics, but in previous elections thought, I'm going to vote for bigger parties because they're going to form a government. But your policies aren't green. None of your policies are green. This wind farm shit that you keep putting up, 16 million trees, and I'm going to have a guess at trillions of dead animals. I literally mean trillions. I'm not exaggerating. You pull down all those trees, how many individual insects, spiders, worms, you name it, they're all animals. They're all living creatures. Trillions of creatures killed so that you can put up your wind farms. How on earth is a reduction of massive biodiversity like that a good thing for the environment? Do tell, moron. Anyway, he says playing our part in government is about saying green politics isn't for show. Green politics doesn't exist, mate. A green vote is a way of making change happen. Yes, but it's not a good change, is it? It's about destruction and poverty and misery and taking everyone back to subsistence farming. And when you've got poverty, nothing is green because technology can't be changed. Poverty is the worst thing for the environment. But little tiny-brained, tiny wankery cocks like him never get that because the IQ of a boot is incapable of understanding complex problems. Anyway, he says quoting Gandhi, which would say, first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. Well, let me just tell you, first of all, we've stopped ignoring you, I'll give you that, but we are going to laugh at you. And we're going to keep laughing at you, not because you win and you're right or anything, it's because you're a fuckwit. I mean, that's it. You are so stupid. You are so wrong in every single thing you do. And your views are abhorrent, and you're an obnoxious little turd. And so, really, laughing at you is all we got. But it's more than laughter, Patrick. We're ridiculing you. Because it's so easy. Because you're quite a ridiculous little man. Anyway, I shall stop there, and I shall come up. He really is a ridiculous little man, though, isn't he? He has weird beliefs. He has beliefs that go against what the vast majority think. And every time he announces anything, you can see almost immediately why it's wrong, why it's mad, why it's dangerous, why it is going to be damaging. But he doesn't see it because, honestly, he does lack that IQ. You've got to remember, this is a man who is completely uneducated. He has no expertise in any field. He's not a biologist, he's not an environmentalist, he's not even a bloody tree surgeon. You know, he's just a moron who's found himself accidentally with a little bit of power and he's using it to the fullest. This is someone who was bullied at school and is finally getting his revenge on society. He's a tit. Anyway, I'll stop there. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this has been educational. Certainly been enlightening. I enjoyed it. I love Patrick Harvey. Never fails to amuse. Till next time, stay safe, stay well away from Patrick Harvey's politics, and goodbye.